Hey guys, welcome back to Nat1 Videos, especially anyone new to the channel. Hopefully I earn your subscription today. Normally here on the channel I am building terrain and dioramas, but today I am going to be painting my first bust. So I wanted to paint something from the Lord of the Rings, but I kind of wanted to go for a whimsical kind of thing. So I did a little bit of research on Thingiverse and I found this super cool Gandalf mini that I just really like. This is also an opportunity for me to try out this black water washable W90B resin from Resione, which I've been wanting to try out. If you've seen some of my recent videos, you will know that I am only very recently getting into 3D printing and I'm still trying to figure out what I like and what I don't like. Water washable resin just seems like a more practical option for me than resins that you need to wash with mess or isopropyl. But like I said, I'm like totally new to this, so if there's something about those resins that I don't know about, please let me know in the comments below. I just like this stuff because you can just put it in the sink and rinse it off and then the job is done. Also, I kind of chose the black resin because I was trying to avoid spray painting my minis with black primer and losing any details in the models, which has happened to me before. But when I asked some of my mini painting friends, they were like, no, you still need to prime your models. But if you're going to print something that you're not going to paint, you just want to print it off, the black does look really cool. Okay, so on to actually painting this Gandalf bust. You might have noticed at the beginning of the video that there was a sponsored video sign. I'm not actually getting paid to do this video, but Army Painter did send me out this mega paint set recently, so in a sense it is sponsored. I have used their paints before for painting minis and I do really like them, so I just sent them an email and said, hey, I'm getting ready to start painting some of my first armies, and happily they wanted to send a little support, so thank you to Army Painter for that. Now, one thing I didn't consider whenever I was making this video was that Gandalf's hat was going to be getting in the way of some of my shots, so this is definitely not a step-by-step tutorial. I will just dip into some details as I go along. Okay, so I started off with a zenithal highlight, which I've been doing ever since we had Elston from Elstonation on the Crazy Crafter live stream. And with this model, what I really wanted to get out of the whole exercise was to improve my ability to paint natural skin tones, which in this case included me working my way up through layered tones from a dark brown base coat, which I actually find a little bit counterintuitive, but I'm taking good advice on that one. So also, with it being a bust, I actually wanted to pay attention to making the eyes look good on the model, so I got the light grey paint into the eye sockets at a really early stage. If I'm being completely honest, I have only really started to improve my mini painting over the last year or so, and this has mostly been because I've started hanging out with some other content creators, and it's been kind of like a crash course for me. So learning about all of the different colors with natural skin tones has been really interesting to me. Elston was actually on hand the whole way through me painting this bust for little bits of advice here and there, and he encouraged me to throw in some purples as well as the brown tones and the flesh tones, which really helped a lot. Things like painting up the wood in the staff were very easy to just smash out. I pretty much just use the same methods I do whenever I'm building terrain, with the dark brown base coats and then dry brushing up the highlights, etc. And whenever I was feeling confident with each stage, I was taking little videos and sending them over to Elston for his feedback so I could make any improvements before moving on to the next stages. One of the things I have learned when it comes to improving my hobby skills is to not be afraid to admit that you don't know something. And that's actually one of my main motivations in doing YouTube altogether, because I'm constantly making things and wanting to improve them, and you're rubbing shoulders with people who pull you up and say, hey, that could be better. You know, so this is a great place for learning more stuff about the hobby. When it came to painting the hat, cloak and beard, this is where I try to pay more attention to the zenithal highlight that I put on at the beginning. I actually took a photo of the model before jumping into painting these parts so that I could keep referring back to the zenithal highlight and not get lost with my light directions once I had the base grey coat down. Now, I don't know if it's the light that I'm using or what, but once the base grey coat was down, the zenithal highlight had completely disappeared. Maybe I just painted too thick a coat of grey, so having that photo to refer to was really helpful. So when I was filming this, I was obviously changing the camera angle to try and get some varied and interesting shots for you guys, and it was only whenever I started looking back through the footage that it dawned on me that Gandalf was staring at me the whole way through the paint job. This poster on the wall behind me is about 30 years old or more, and I just love this rendition of Gandalf looking raggedy and rough around the edges. It probably kind of feeds subconsciously into why I chose the model to paint. I love the cartooniness of the model, but it still captures that old wizened but mysterious and powerful kind of look that I associate with the Grey Pilgrim. Right, with all of the highlights on my cloak done, it was time to focus on my absolute nemesis, painting the eyes. When it comes to mini painting, I have taken to not painting them in at all, but with the bust, you can really see the details of the eye sockets, so it would look really weird if you just didn't paint them in. Now, again here, the brim of the hat is kind of getting in the way of the camera view, and it actually made it awkward to paint as well. Naturally, I would want to paint the right eye first, and then I would turn the model upside down so that I had the same control for the left eye. But that hat made it pretty much impossible. Also, the left eye on the model is squinting slightly, so that made it even more awkward again. I actually ended up painting the left eye like 4 or 5 times, rinsing it out and starting again. But in the end, I managed to get them reasonably symmetrical, although it does look a little bit like Gandalf has been smoking a little bit too much long bottom leaf. So even though this model is quite cartoony, I did want to add as much realism as possible to the model where it seemed to fit, and I have seen some bust painters use a gloss varnish to finish up the eyes. I used Liquitex Gloss Medium for this, and even just that little detail seemed to bring it a bit more to life, although I'm not sure it came across on camera as it does in person. With the base, I just painted it with a flat stone grey, and then I was on to the last few details, which I couldn't make my mind up about. Okay, last little detail, and I can't make my mind up about putting on a wash or not. So I think I'm going halfway. I'm going to put a wash on the cloak and the hat and the stick, but I'm going to leave the skin tone because I think the skin tone turned out pretty good. So yeah, dark tone wash on the cloak and a strong tone wash on the staff. One thing that I see really good miniature painters do is to complete their paint jobs without the use of washes. This is the sort of standard that I would really like to get to with my painting someday, but right now I have to accept the fact that I'm not quite there yet. I was really glad though not to put a flesh tone wash on the skin areas, which does mean that my ability to paint natural skin tones is in fact improving, but it's a very gradual process. Hopefully as I move forward with each model, it will look better than the last one. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think that using washes is cheating when it comes to painting minis? Let me know in the comments below. In terms of my first attempt at painting a bust, I'm really happy with how Gandalf turned out. The bigger model means that you can notice a lot more details than you would in a mini, so there isn't as much room for error, and I feel pleased that it wasn't a total disaster. Let me know in the comments, guys, how you think that I did, and yeah, please let me know if you've got any tips on how I can improve. Okay, so there we go. My Gandalf is all finished up, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased with him. I can see that there are improvements that I can make, but I can't quite know what to do to improve them. So I am definitely looking for people to help me, give me some direction with how I can do these improvements and get better at mini painting. So yeah, don't be afraid to give me some advice in the comments. Before I go, guys, I just want to say a massive thank you to my patrons as always. I know you guys are probably waiting for my big terrain build that I've been working on for way too long, and it's been going wrong, and yeah, it will get there hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I keep saying that, but it's coming. Everyone on the screen that you can see right now, you guys are absolute legends, and yeah, you guys are really helping to support this channel and yeah, help me grow. So thank you so much, and thanks to everyone for watching, and to anyone new, please subscribe. And I can hear my daughter running down the hallway, so I'm just going to say goodbye.